Welcome to That's What She Said, where we'll spill the tea on women empowerment in the Great Lakes Bay region with your host, Christiana Malacara.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's What She Said. And this is going to be a quite interesting one as we conclude our first season of That's What She Said. So in the season of gratitude, I wanted to say the sincerest thank you to each and every one of the listeners that tune in to WSGW on Sundays here on all the social media platforms on Thursdays, and then always on Spotify 24/7. So, and you can always catch us again on YouTube. And That's What She Said, and WSGW's YouTube page. Also, in the mood of thanking, I want to thank producer Jonathan Dent. This would not be possible without him and his dedication. And honestly, the feedback after every episode, for those who don't know, Jonathan and I sit down and we talk about what went well and what can go better and what are we going to do next. And without that input, we wouldn't have episode 23 today of season 1. So thank you all. And, keep sending me all of those positive messages of the women that are touching your life, and you are an inspiration in someone else's. It's very motivating, and it'll push us through to our next season. So speaking of, I don't know how to prelude into this one. So the voice you just heard right before mine, fun fact, is a voice from a sister station, 106.3 The Core. And that voice is going to actually be on the show today, as we are just going to have a conversation. I don't even know if I want to call her a guest. We're just going to have a conversation and kind of just talk about what I don't even know what we're going to talk about, actually, because I let her kind of set up the foundation of this episode. And so it's going to be interesting.
Are we on? I'm on too.
Needless to say, we have Mackenzie Furlo here with us.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for agreeing to this. Because I mean, it's honestly your show a little here.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We're
going to be talking about I don't know what, which is interesting. But I do want to say thank you to Mackenzie, because Mackenzie, which I call her Mac.
Yep.
Mac is not only the voice that intros the show.
That's all I do, actually.
She watches the shows.
I do.
And she gives me honest feedback and was like, man, that was crazy what she said. Or, hey, that really hit me hard. And that's something I need to work on and do in my life. And so just that instant feedback from Mackenzie week to week is really
yeah, I stay in the comments of
the
live.
Yeah, she's always in my comments. But tuning in live is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little different than tuning in later.
Yes.
Because you're in the now and you're like actively it's like you're almost in the conversation.
Yeah, it feels like
right?
I'm a part of that conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's always, time to go back. I actually, I don't know if it's weird to say, but like I'll listen to my episodes on Spotify later.
Mm-hmm.
And like, well, how did I say that? Or, what did we talk about? Like, cause sometimes there's times in an episode where I'm like, I get so engulfed in that person's story, that woman's story. It's like, but what did I ask that triggered that story?
Right.
And that's exciting for me.
Yeah. I'll have to listen back because I will fully black out and then have to just watch this later.
Yeah. So, what do you got for us today?
Yeah. So I am the voice of the intro, and I'm also, I'm on air in one of your sister stations, 106.3 The Core. I am the program/content director of that station. And so that's what I do here. And then we're like friends outside of this work thing. So this is like new for us too, like sitting down in this style. So
this is. Yeah, I don't think we've ever been behind the mic at the same time.
Never. So this is different. But I think it's cool. It's going to be great.
So you're like really experienced in this though. Like being behind a microphone, not interviewing.
No.
But being behind a microphone.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah. September was 10 years in radio. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
She's been around for a while, yeah. And that's what she said. Yep.
But never interviewing, just music.
Yeah, music. Yeah. I mean, I've done like artist interviews in the past, but it's been a while since I've done those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's similar but different. Because I know music, but
yeah. How long have you been?
2 years.
2 years. Wild.
I know.
And this is the 23rd episode.
23rd episode of the first season of
And
That's What She Said.
And you started when?
Well, actually, yeah, it'll be 2 years this month. Coming up
wow.
in the next couple days.
That's wild.
Mhm.
Time flies, really.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. I think the cool part about this job is, for me anyway, and helping it fly by, is like I always was learning something different.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was never in radio before. Like, I was never even in broadcasting before.
Yeah.
This was my first job like this.
Yeah. And it changes a lot.
This is true.
Always something new.
Technology always changes.
Technology changes. Yep.
I remember when I first meetings, they were like, how are we going to incorporate this? And then I was like, I have some ideas.
Yeah.
And it was really nice because, management was like, well, that's a fresh perspective. Like, literally, I was like the new person.
Yep.
And they're like, we're excited that I had an outside perspective. But I didn't study this.
Mm-mm.
I didn't know anything about like the etiquette of going out and interviewing someone or how to set that up. Or I still am learning, a soundboard.
Yeah.
So
did you know that I didn't go to school for this either?
No, I guess I didn't.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I got also very lucky to get into the industry, kind of. Or I got lucky at least. But I did want to ask you a question about That's What She Said that I've never asked you before.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, it's okay. No, and that
I'm
that
really tense, guys.
and that I don't know if you even told me, and maybe I've missed it, but because I was in the meeting of when you pitched the idea.
Yeah.
But when you're in a meeting in a conference room, sometimes I'm kind of just like, so where did this idea come from?
Ooh, okay. This is all right. This is a little bit of a story. So, I had been doing this for like 6, 7, 8 months, right? And as a news reporter, and when that was how I got into this industry as a news reporter. And so I would go out and interview just like CEOs or owners of companies, or just kind of like, oh, somebody's setting up my interview. Like, oh yeah, interview him. And it was always interesting because I interviewed them, and then they would always like that. It would be a gentleman.
Yep.
It'd be a man.
Yeah.
And he'd always like, well, you know what? I don't have that answer, but she does. There's she, there's she. And then he's like, oh, wait, let me text her real quick. Or, you know what? Let me just call her into the office.
Yeah.
And they would call her into the office. And then the person that had my answers was almost always a she.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, hey, that's cool. You know, like, and so that just kind of got me excited. And then the further I got into the industry, it was like, I'm interviewing like a baker.
Yeah.
Who has the talent, but who's running the show, who's managing, who's scheduling, who purchased the new building, whatever it is. It was a she.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? That old saying of like, oh, the man wears the pants in the house. I'm like, but who washes the pants? So I'm sitting in the back of a van driving down to Lansing, and I have a very good friend, and she's in politics. Okay. And she's sitting next to me, and we're sitting in the back of this van. It's like an 18-passenger van. It's the most uncomfortable ride downstate.
I was wondering, why are you hanging out the back of the van? Dude?
We're headed downstate. We're headed downstate to this performance, and I'm talking to her, and she's a pretty powerful woman. And I was like, she's like, how do you like your new job? And I was like, I love it, but like, man, these women just keep like coming up, and like I end up they're always like, oh, let me get your business card so that way I can connect with you later.
Yeah.
And it was really never the male that I interviewed. And she's like, women run it. They really do. And it got me all geeked up. And all of a sudden it just hit me. I was like, why don't we talk about this?
Who run the world? Girls.
Yeah. And I was like, why don't we talk about this? And she's like, you have a platform.
Yeah.
She's like, you're confident, do it. You know, what's the worst they could say? So originally I pitched the concept to Jonathan, and I had the name of the show, everything like in my head, some branding. And then this is one of those cases where it's like, to be grateful for the people who are in rooms that you're not in, because Jonathan was in a room and was like, Christiana has this really awesome idea.
Yeah.
And then it just blossomed from there.
Oh my goodness. I did not know that story at all. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, 23 in.
Yep.
How are you feeling about it?
I think I'm how do I feel about it? I'm proud of what we've done. But I'm also Okay, so I had someone come up to me like, "You're never gonna run out of women."
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, and like that kind of like that's why I'm like kind of stuck because it's like I want to talk to everyone.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
That just hit me. You're
yeah.
never, yeah.
I'm never gonna run out of women because everybody has a story.
Whoa.
Even if like one person's story can just touch one other person, like
Yeah.
my job's done. Like I'm good.
And
I'm like that's a solid episode.
yeah, and every time when I am, and I try to tune in,
Mhm.
because it's usually when I'm eating my lunch, for the days. Like,
1:30.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
tune in,
And
here and I'll
Christiana.
watch, and there's always something, if not a couple things,
Yeah.
that stick with me, and I'm like, whoa, like I'm gonna use that, or I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head to continue on with what I'm doing in my life, whether it's personal or professional, but it's usually personal. It's usually in the personal side of things.
Yeah. So for those that are like just tuning in, my name is Christiana and I'm the host of That's What She Said. And today I have Mackenzie Furlo from a sister station. And we're just talking about life. We're talking about things, talking about
Mhm.
work. And who knows where the show's gonna go next in this
Yeah.
episode that we're talking in.
You never know with me.
Never know. I literally never know with Mackenzie, guys. So, but the way that we normally structure the show, is that we start with a bigger picture.
Mhm.
Who are you to the community? And then
Mhm.
it funnels down to like, now who are you as a person? Are you a mother? Are you a sister? Are you a mentor? Are
Mhm.
you a grandparent?
Mhm.
Are there's all these RUs, but then it festers down to this one piece of advice. Like, what would you give? What is that one piece of advice that you've learned from your journey so far?
Mm.
What would you give to a woman to like empower them?
Are you asking me this?
No, but I
Oh,
could.
okay.
I mean, if
You
you feel
could.
like answering it, I don't know.
You could. I'm trying to think of when I want to use this though,
Yeah,
because I have that. I
You
have
can-
an answer for that.
you can.
Put it in
You
my pocket.
do.
I do have
You
an
can
answer
pocket
for
that
that. I'm
question
gonna
if you
pocket
want.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pocket
I mean,
that.
it's a good question to ask, honestly, to anyone that you meet.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what's a piece of advice you would give me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all walk through life differently. Like, there's this concept of a 1 degree. I don't know if you've heard it.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's basically like every person that touches your life on its path, that person can veer you just 1 degree off your path,
Mm.
a little bit at a time.
Yep.
And so now that path that you originated in your head is not necessarily the path that you're currently on, based off of everyone who's just touched your life enough to get you 1 degree to the left, 1 degree to the right, 1 degree to the left.
Whoa.
And that's not where you started,
No.
but you're confident in where you're going.
Whoa.
Oh my
What is that called again?
1 degree.
1 degree.
It's a 1 degree method.
1 degree method.
Yeah.
So
I just blew her mind. Did you guys see how just
yeah. No, because it's so true, right?
Yeah.
Because every time, like you really, and you don't expect it.
No.
You don't expect that. But really, every connection you make, every person you meet, they change you in a little way, right? That 1 degree or that 1% or that one something. And then you just
and then you just choose if your encounters with that person, how often are you gonna interact with that person,
Yeah.
that that bank account, how many deposits are we putting into this person, how many withdrawals are we taking from that person, and that veers your 1%.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. Have you in the last week,
Okay,
have you had that happen to you?
the 1%.
Mm-hmm. For 1 degree?
1 degree. I mean,
Mhm.
sorry, yeah, 1 degree. Yeah. I have a relative who we're 10 years apart.
Okay.
And every time my relative comes to town, it reminds me this person, she reminds me to like just have fun and
Mhm.
not really take on how other people perceive me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she leaves town, which is like 4 or 5, 6 months at a time,
Yeah.
like when I know I need to see her again or, talk to her, have those like one-on-ones, like I almost know like I have to reach out to this person because I need this 1 degree back. I need like, all right, just remind me again, that
Yeah.
like I'm doing okay being the person that I am without letting someone else's judgment like cast and weigh on me. Like that person, my cousin, is just like, she's that person for me,
Mhm.
and I know when she touches my life, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna start making this decision based off of this concept because this is how and I should be thinking.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And that's a way that I've been trying to live my life as well, because it's always about like the perception
Yeah.
of others, or like what would this make them feel like, or how would blah blah blah. And it's never always just like, okay, but what do I want to do? What do I want